Okay, fine, I confess, I don't actually hate Marin. I actually really like her character. Hey guys, thanks for tuning into this video. Today I wanted to discuss the character of Marin in Link's Awakening. This is a character that many Zelda fans love. And what's not to love? She's a very intriguing character. Yes, I know in my Let's Play I was somewhat dismissive of her, but in all honesty, I love the character of Marin. In fact, she is one of my favorite characters in the entire Zelda franchise. She has a unique sense of charm around her. She loves to sing, she lives with Terran, and she might have a small crush on Link. But that's not all. At the time of the first release of this game, Marin is quite unlike any other character in the series. For a character in a Game Boy game, she sure has a lot more personality than, say, Zelda did in the previous games. She has an adventurous spirit, which does get her into trouble during the course of the game. This is very much unlike any other side character in the series to that point. In all previous titles, characters don't really have that much in terms of characterization. But Marin is different. Her character is more developed than other characters throughout the series. How Marin is characterized, though, is odd. There are several things that seem bizarre and have caused some degree of speculation among Zelda fans. One thing is her beliefs in a land beyond Koholint. In a private discussion between her and Link, we find out that she dreams about leaving the island and singing for other people around the world. Unlike the other inhabitants of Koholint, she believes that there are other lands beyond that of the little island she lives on. In fact, she sees Link's arrival on Koholint as proof of her belief. Another thing is that she just happens to know the song that wakes up the Windfish, which will result in the disappearance of the island. If this island is really a dream world created by the Windfish, how does she, an aspect of that dream, know this song? She apparently even tries to wake up the Windfish herself, something that could possibly end her existence, believing that the Windfish will grant her wish to fly to other lands. One more thing that is interesting is that, at first glance, it is generally assumed that Marin and Terran have a father and daughter relationship. Even Nintendo at this current time is supportive of that idea, and we can see that in books like Hyrule Historia and the Zelda Encyclopedia. What is odd about this, however, is that in the game itself, Marin never calls Terran her father. One of the developers of the game, Yasuhisa Yamamura, even remarked on this fact in an interview. Do you think Terran and Marin are father and daughter? It never says that in the game. Most importantly, Marin calls Terran by name. Could she actually be a little gold digger? Calling Marin a little gold digger seems to be a bit of a joke. But the fact that the developers were aware that Marin never calls Terran father is interesting. Despite initial appearances, there is a good chance that Marin and Terran might not actually be related. All these facts make Marin a more enigmatic character. The character who at first glance looks like a cute, simple island girl who has fantasies about other lands and loves to sing, suddenly becomes more mysterious. Another question that gets asked is if Marin survives the awakening of the Windfish. To many Zelda fans, the answer is undoubtedly yes. The Windfish seems to have granted her wish, and we can see this in the true ending of the game, where her face appears in the sky and a seagull flies by. The Windfish has granted her wish to fly to other islands and share her song, making her into a seagull. I think, however, this is the result of a bit of a discomfort with the loss of such a charming character. Players can become easily attached to Marin through the story of the game, and this is for good reason. The game, even with its technical limitations, finds a way to pull at the emotions of the player as they consider the fact that ending Link's quest in this game means that Koholint will disappear, and that all the people they met, Marin included, were never truly real. We don't want Marin to disappear with the island. We don't want the result of our quest to mean the end of Koholint. But as Link in the game, we have to face that reality. Sometimes truth is not always that pleasant to face. Sometimes it means we have to make hard choices. And this is the reality that Marin presents to us in the game. During the course of the game, Link discovers the uncomfortable truth about Koholint. It is an illusory place, grown out of the dreams of a sleeping fish god, and that when he awakens, the island and all its inhabitants will disappear. What makes it worse is that this is revealed after Link has his date with Marin, a moment that is quite probably the most heartwarming and endearing part of the game. As a result, the player doesn't want to let go of the characters that Link meets in the game, and yet the windfish needs rescuing from the nightmares that infect his dream world. And so, unless the player chooses to quit playing and live in a fantasy world where this game never ends, Link presses on, unsure of whether or not what he has found out is actually true, but knowing that he has a task he is destined to complete. This is why so many fans are willing to interpret the true ending of the game as Marin getting her wish granted by the windfish and surviving the collapse of the dream. Who is Marin, and what is her ultimate fate? In looking into these questions, I found some interesting answers and theories presented by many Zelda theorists. I want to take some time to examine both of these questions, starting with Marin's identity. Who is Marin? One common idea is that Marin is the result of some sort of spiritual echo of Malon from Ocarina of Time, or the memory of Malon from the Oracle games. Even Nintendo has supported this idea in the past, stating in Hyrule Historia that Marin and Tarin come from Link's memories of Malon and Talon in the Oracle games. This is an interesting idea, but while Malon and Talon are based on Marin and Tarin from a production standpoint, I don't find good reason to assume that this means, chronologically speaking, that Marin and Tarin find their roots in Malon and Talon. For one thing, Nintendo has revised their own chronology of the game so that the Oracle games take place after Link's awakening. This would mean that Link has not met Malon and Talon in the Oracle games yet. But there's another thing to point out here as well. There seems to be a bit of a tradition in Zelda in regards to the character of Marin, where one character is based on the appearance of another. For example, Malon is not the only character in the Zelda series to share a likeness with the character of Marin. According to producer Eiji Aonuma, Hyrule from Wind Waker was actually originally going to be named Mariru in Japanese. This name bears some similarity to Marin's, and even aesthetically, Hyrule resembles Marin. From the color of her dress to the connection she has with seagulls, Hyrule brings to mind another cute island girl in the series, despite not having reddish hair. Even the flower on Hyrule's dress is meant to invoke memories of the flower in Marin's hair. Malon isn't the only character here that has similarities to Marin. I found this interesting to make note of in light of the fact that even Marin herself is actually based on another character. Marin herself invokes the memories of Zelda in Link when he first sees her. And this only becomes more of a solid connection after playing both the Oracle games together. Here we see Zelda once again, and wouldn't you know it, the sprite used for Zelda is the exact same sprite the Game Boy version of Link's Awakening uses for Marin, albeit minus the crown. And just compare the Oracle's Malon with Marin and Zelda, and it becomes very apparent that Marin has more in common in terms of appearance with Zelda than she does with Malon. Due to this, I think it's safer to say that Marin comes from Link's memories of Zelda that he met in A Link to the Past, and that he reunites with in the Oracle games. The connection between Malon and Marin then is sort of more superficial than anything. Even their familial relationships are different. Malon is clearly Talon's daughter, but can we really say with certainty that Marin is Tarin's daughter? Reality seems to be pointing in another direction here. Marin is based off of Link's memories of Zelda, which seems to be more in line with the intentions of the original designers of the game. This actually makes more sense too when considering why Marin does what she does in the game. She represents not only Link's desire to leave the island, but Link's desire to return to Zelda. This iteration of Link does seemingly have a romantic relationship with Zelda, so his desire to return to her after traveling the world would be strong. This would explain why Marin is so intent on adventuring beyond the shores of Koholint, and why she tries to wake up the windfish herself. Her desire to see other lands results from Link's own desire to return to Zelda. But this world of Koholint is not Link's dream world. It's the world of the Windfish. Link isn't creating this world. So how exactly is Link's memories of Zelda coming alive in this world? Where do these events take place? Is this world just happening in Link's mind, being somehow projected to him by the Windfish? Or are these events happening on some other plane of reality or something? One might look at the most recent entry of the series to answer this question. In the DLC for Breath of the Wild, Link must reface the Blight Ganons that he has previously defeated in an illusory realm. This realm is born out of Link's own memories and fears. And this world is seemingly very real on some level. It doesn't just exist in Link's mind. If you die in the illusory realm, you get a game over. That's it. Link doesn't just wake up after not passing the test, he will straight up die if he doesn't come out of this challenge victorious. The illusory realm has real consequences if victory is not achieved. The same sort of thing happens in Skyward Sword's boss rush mode. The dragon Lanayru tells you that if you lose the boss rush mode, you won't be going home. The boss rush is not just a game to Link, it's life or death training. And I think Koholint is something similar. While it is created from the dreams of a sleeping fish god, it's not just all in Link's head. There is a reality to this world within the realm of illusion. Even the tablet in the face shrine that reveals that this world isn't the real world uses the language of illusion, which is the same language used for the illusory realm in Breath of the Wild. Those in control of the illusory realm can draw from Link's memories and fears to create the challenge for him in Breath of the Wild, and I think this is sort of what's happening in Link's Awakening. The Windfish, the one who has created this world of illusion, is able to draw from Link's memories of Zelda, in an effort to try and guide the hero towards his goal. This is why Marin knows the Ballad of the Windfish. The Windfish himself is giving Link the tools to awaken him through Marin. This, of course, does result in the fading away of the island, which leads us to the second question of this video. What is Marin's fate? Most fans believe that the Windfish granted Marin's wish and that she lives on as a seagull in the real world. It seems Marin's wish being granted was intended by the developers as well, as in the true ending of the original release of the game, Marin is seen flying through the air on wings of her own. And yet this was changed in later versions of the game, to Marin's face appearing in the sky with a single seagull flying away. As stated before, most fans see this as Marin existing as a seagull after the Windfish awakens, and that the Windfish has granted her wish. But I find that kind of hard to accept. When the Windfish does awaken, we see the island disappearing. Everything that we've become attached to in this world fades away, as reality suddenly sets in. As I stated earlier, this attachment that is developed to Marin is possibly what causes us to desire for Marin to survive. It doesn't seem fair that she doesn't get to live on after. She has to survive, right? And yet as the island disappears, the player is faced with the reality that everything they've become attached to in this game is going away. The Windfish is waking up, and his dream world will only be a memory. And as we watch the island disappear, we see Marin singing by the weather vane, seemingly unaware of the ending of her existence. She disappears, alongside everything else. There is no escape from the truth for her. She isn't real. She never was. Even the official Japanese lyrics for the Ballad of the Windfish that came out in advertising the Switch release of the game seems to indicate this. "Oh dream, please let me not wake up. So you wish, and yet a dream has to end one day. Such is the fate of time. Even if everything disappears like the wind, I will swim in the sky of your memories. Even after you've awoken from it, the dream will always be inside you." Based on these words, it seems likely that Marin's survival is merely in the memories of Link. When Marin teaches Link the Ballad of the Windfish, a text pops up that says, "This song will always remain in your heart." And it seems this is true. When Link wakes up, it is Marin's voice singing that he hears in his mind. And when Link looks up to the Windfish, he sees that he has accomplished his goal of waking up the Windfish. And as he does, he remembers his adventures on Koholint and remembers Marin. If this is the case, then this is what the true ending of the game is. Link is reflecting on his time with Marin on Koholint Island. She will always live, but only in Link's memories. At least that is how I was going to end this video. Until I noticed something peculiar about what the Windfish says in the game. When the Windfish wakes up in the original versions of the game, he tells Link, "Be it the nature of dreams to end. When I dost awaken, Koholint will be gone. Only the memory of this dreamland will exist in the waking world. Someday, thou may recall this island. That memory must be the real dream world." In the Switch remake, however, this text is changed. There, instead of saying, "That memory must be the real dream world," the Windfish says, "That memory makes the dream world real." And here I am left wondering, why on earth did Nintendo change this text? What does this mean? Does Link remembering Marin at the end of the game do something to bring her back to life in the real world? Is that even possible? Dream with me by the sea. We watch the waves crash. Hold my hand, think of me and I'll fly. That's a part of the official lyrics to the English version of the Ballad of the Windfish. Think of me and I'll fly. Could it be that somehow Link's memory of Marin, the mere act of thinking of his time with her and remembering her wish to become a seagull, is able to bring her back as a seagull at the end after all? I mean, this dream world was created by a magic fish god. Perhaps this is all just a part of that magic. Who knows? Maybe facing reality isn't always as bad as we think. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed my discussion on the character of Marin. Feel free to leave a comment on your thoughts on the video. I'd love to see them. In the future, I want to do more video essays like this about games that I do Let's Plays on, discussing theories, characters, themes, or just whatever there is about the game that I want to talk about. Once again, guys, thanks for watching. Stay classy, and peace out.